It was pretty slow down at Basin Street South at Shoreham Harbour the other day. A few interesting trucks about, but no one could spare the time for a proper chat. So I shot some photos. I drove along the coast, along the A259, towards the A283. Eventually, I went back to the harbour area. It's actually the Shoreham-by-Sea harbour at that point, but it runs into Shoreham Harbour. I stopped by a pub and checked out a parked truck. It was dark, 2200 hours. Over the retaining wall, I looked down and saw a Mike Beer lorry just below the A259 with a light on in the cab. So I took a chance and went down, and there I found Scott Slaney in his DAF. Apparently Mike Beer Transport is now MBT online, having been bought by Irishman Roy O'Leary. Scott, over to you.
It's Wednesday? There's this Wednesday the 6th, it's my mum's birthday.
It's your mum's birthday?
Yeah, Wednesday the 6th of June.
Well, tell her happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday, Mum. Well, I think it's a family inbred, in sort of grained thing, because my dad's a lorry driver, my brother's a lorry driver, got uncles and things that are lorry drivers. So I think it's just one of those natural things that I've followed on with, if you know what I mean. Well, the draw to it's getting out, seeing the world, being sort of your own boss, yeah. You know, having a bit of free time. We all like being on our own every now and then. I like being on my own to a certain extent, don't get me wrong, I like company, but it's the being on your own, it's the freedom of it all, I think, that's the main draw for me. I like being free, don't necessarily like getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but...
What are the things you don't like about the trucking industry? There must be something.
Oddly enough, the same thing I like about it. It's weird, I don't like... I love being on my own, I love my own space, but then I also don't like being on my own, if that's making any sense to you at all. Yeah. I don't like being on your own at certain times when you think, oh, it'd be nice to just have a mate as is sat here with us, or, you know, to be able to go in a bar and speak to someone, or have a couple of other drivers that are about that you know, or be at home. There's nothing more comfortable than sitting in your own house. So the same thing I love about the job is more or less the same thing I hate about the job as well. Also, I don't particularly like the fact that roads now are never getting any quieter. A few years ago you could probably travel 700 k's in a day. In the UK, you can still do it abroad, but in the UK you could travel 700 k's a day quite happily, quite legally. Whereas now it's a struggle to do that unless you're getting up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Mostly because of traffic. I mean, you go around the M25 any time after sort of 7:30, or even earlier than that, 7 o'clock, and you're going nowhere. Mm. Or I say you're going nowhere, you're getting somewhere, but every other time is a stop, start, stop, start, and then it's moving, not moving. Mm. So they're things I don't like about the job, if anything.
Yeah. You remember a few months ago there were some gales of wind up in the north, and people's trucks were overturned. Have you ever experienced anything like that? I've
come close on the Dartford Bridge. Coming back, I was pulling an empty taut liner.
Oh yeah.
And there's no
canvas sails.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's very much like that. It sort of throws you over. And I saw the trailer, back end of the trailer, just lift the back axle off the ground on my driver's side. Oh. Of course, driving in the left-hand lane, you're the first one over and in the water, aren't you? I can never gripped onto a steering wheel so hard in my life, I can tell you that for nothing. We're based down in Dover on this firm.
Okay, and tell me about the firm. Who is it?
Online MBT is the name of the firm. Used to be Mike Beer Transport, but now it's Online MBT. It's been bought out by an Irishman, Mr. O'Leary. And he's bought it out. He's got depots now in Dover, which is the Online MBT that we're at. He's got Dagenham, up near London there, or Essex there, and he's got another one in Germany, somewhere around the Dortmund area. Okay. And that's Online GmbH, which I believe is the original company. Okay. Not 100% sure on that one.
All right. You were saying Mike Beer was the original founder of this part of the company that has been bought. Yeah,
he was the bloke that owned it originally. That was when it was Mike Beer Transport. It was a good firm, and you know, he's a bloke who started on his own, owner driver. Yeah. then built up and built up and built up, and then of course he gets a few bulkers, you know, doing grain and whatever else goes in a bulker, and then he gets himself some taut liners, and then the company grows because, you know, it's all about the name, really. You know, if you've got a good name, and if that name has got a reputation over the years, it tends to get better work, and he's ended up getting better and better work, and he's got to retirement age. Someone's offered him a load of money. You know, yeah, take your 5, 7, 8 bedroomed house and your helipad and your fast cars and all of that and clear off, and that's what he's done, you see. Opened the door then for someone else to take the reins.
Right. I see that you run a GPS. Any particular reason for the model, or is that what's supplied to you?
It's just the one that was in it.
Okay.
It's, you know, this was in it when I took the truck on.
Yeah.
It's Garmin Nuvi.
Oh, Garmin, yeah.
It does Europe.
Yeah.
Which I spend quite a lot of time out in Europe. I do France, Belgium, Holland, Germany, mostly.
Right.
Every now and then we'll get a bit of Italy.
Yeah.
But like I say, the majority of our work's France.
Okay.
Don't speak a lot of French, but don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know, it has its days when you turn up and speaking in your best French, you know, in your best French dialect,
Yeah.
and find out the bloke's from, you know, Barnsley originally. That's normally how it works. I pulled up to do a carpet job in France once, full load of carpet, you know, to be dragged out by hand, and I put bonjour. Oh, bonjour. I thought, that doesn't sound like a French accent. The livraison? Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's just going in the shed. He went, oh, for bloody hell. So where are you from? She Barnsley. I don't do a very good Barnsley accent, but he was from Barnsley.
I get the idea.
Yeah, that's marvellous. And his entire family was English. They'd moved out there because the work was good.
Okay.
And that's where they'd stayed.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
But I like this lorry. It goes well. It's automatic, and I'm getting lazy now in my not so young, you know, old age.
Jesus, how old are you? 25?
29.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I just look good. I had an easy paper round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good little motor. It goes well. Very rarely do you see me at the side of the road with my hazards on. Seems to go on forever. It's pretty speedy. You know, it's got a good amount of power. 480 horsepower. It's got plenty of oomph going on. It's everything's sort of where I need it, which at the moment's everywhere. Yeah. Because I've only been back a couple of days. I haven't really been up with me tidying.
I'm not showing the track on the inside.
Oh, that's all right then. You're probably best not to.
Head and shoulders, man.
Oh,
if
perfect.
I show people this, I say, Jesus, this guy truck driver. See, yes, they're all like this, don't
Oh,
we?
you'd be surprised. Some people are worse. Oh, yeah, they all push. I don't think there's any firm now that will say, yeah, get there when you get there, mate.
No, it's all on deadlines.
Oh, yeah, because we've got to compete now, haven't we? Compete with the European Union. I know you probably find a lot of drivers will go on about, oh yeah, the Polish drivers this, the Lithuanian drivers that. It's not true, you know. When they'll say these Polish lads, they'll drive all day and all night, it's not true. 90% of the Polish lads that I know, you know, like when I used to park up in Germany a lot, 99% or 90% of the Polish lads that come to England, they dare not break the law because they know VOSA are actually that sort of right up on it. They know exactly what they're doing, they know exactly who they're looking for. So you'll find now that the Polish, I mean even most of the Belgians and Dutch now, they're coming through and they're keeping to the law. What they do in their own country is entirely up to them. But whenever they're in the UK, you find that the majority are sticking with inside the law because they know full well they don't carry the euros or the pounds to pay the fines, and being parked up for 24 hours, you know, if that's what they deem necessary, you know, park them up until the fine's paid, or for 24 hours or 45 hours, depending on what the offence is. They know full well that they're firm because they're going through the same kind of thing that we are with recession and blah blah.
Well, worse than we are, you know.
Well, yeah. But they're all going through the same thing, so they know full well they'd much rather do an hour's less work every day, but still have a lorry on the road 5-6 days a week, as they would do an hour's extra work every day with the risk of having to spend a midweek 24 hours off. Makes perfect sense to me, especially when you think the fines aren't getting any smaller.